When the stagecoach halted before the weather-beaten station in Montana, no one paid Clara Whitmore any mind. No one except the wind, sharp and restless, pulling at her worn coat as though urging her to turn back. The other women descended first, youthful and bright-eyed, skirts freshly pressed, hope stitched into every movement. Men stepped forward to greet them, back straighter, voices warmer. Clara came last. Her boots met the dirt softly, final as a closed door. She clasped her gloved hands at her middle, as if keeping herself intact required constant effort. She had crossed half the nation to stand here, trading the last scraps of dignity for a printed notice and a promise that had already faded. The man who had summoned her never appeared. The station agent looked away. One by one, couples disappeared into laughter and plans, leaving her alone with a battered trunk and the slow understanding that she had been unwanted before she ever arrived. In a place this small, rumor moved quicker than wind. She caught every word without meaning to. Too old, too plain, too quiet. Someone said she looked worn out. Someone else said she would be trouble. Clara held her chin high, the way her mother once taught her, even as shame settled on her shoulders heavier than the sky above. She had not come west dreaming of romance. She had come because there was nothing left behind her. No family, no work, no place that would take her in. Still, rejection burned. She wasn't asking for love, only to be chosen, only to be given a chance to belong. But the bench beside the station stayed empty, and the sun climbed higher, indifferent. That was when she noticed him. Not because he was striking, though there was a quiet strength about him, but because he didn't look at her like she was a problem needing explanation. He stood slightly apart, hat pushed back, sleeves rolled, boots dusty with honest labor. His name, she would later learn, was Eli Dawson, a rancher rich in land and responsibility, poor in help and comfort. A man who had never sent for a bride because he believed life couldn't be purchased through ink and postage. And yet he stood there, watching her as if he understood exactly what it meant to be left behind. Eli had come to town for supplies, expecting nothing more than a long ride home and another silent evening. But seeing Clara standing alone in the middle of her humiliation stirred something in him. He knew loneliness. He knew the sound of an empty house after a day of hard work. He knew what it meant to be overlooked because you didn't shine in the ways people preferred. He watched the station empty, watched her remain even when hope had no reason to linger. Before he could reconsider, his boots were carrying him toward her. She tensed when he stopped, bracing for another question she didn't want to answer. He didn't ask her name. He didn't ask why she was still waiting. He tipped his hat and said, "Looks like they left you standing." His tone held no pity. Clara swallowed and nodded. "Seems so." Silence stretched, long enough for her to expect him to leave. Instead, he glanced at her trunk. "You got somewhere to go?" The truth pressed up hard in her chest. "No," she said, and it felt heavier than any word before it. Eli drew a slow breath, the kind taken before lifting a heavy load. "I don't have much," he said. "No fine house, no promises I can't keep. But I've got a ranch that needs hands and a life that could use another soul." He met her eyes fully. "I'm not asking you to marry me, not asking you to pretend we're something we're not. I'm asking if you'll try with me." No one had ever asked her that, not to try, only to fit, to shrink, to please. She looked at his outstretched hand, rough and real. "I can work," she said softly. "I don't quit easy." His mouth curved just slightly. "That's all I was hoping for." As the wagon carried them away, Clara didn't know whether she was riding toward safety or disappointment. But she wasn't invisible anymore. The road ahead was long and unforgiving. So was she, and somewhere between the creak of wheels and the open sky, a story began that neither of them had ordered, but both desperately needed. The ranch revealed itself slowly, stretched wide beneath a sky too big for excuses. Leaning fences, a modest house holding firm against the wind, land worked hard but never finished. No neighbors waved, no children greeted them. Eli helped her down carefully, carried her trunk inside without comment, set it near the wall like it belonged, like she belonged. The house was clean, spare, shaped by necessity. "You can have the back room," he said. "Door locks. Supper simple. You don't owe me anything." The words lingered long after he stepped away. The work was brutal and honest. Blisters formed, muscles ached. but there was comfort in effort that demanded no explanation. Eli showed her once, maybe twice, then trusted her to learn. That trust lit something stubborn inside her. The town noticed. Whispers followed. The mail order reject. Charity case. She nearly packed her trunk more than once. Then one night Eli knocked softly. "You okay?" No demand, just concern. She told him everything. And when she finished, he said, "They don't decide your worth. You matter here if you want to stay." Winter came. Then understanding, shared silence, small smiles, respect. Love arrived quietly without announcement, like a fire tended daily. Spring followed hard and fast, and with it trouble. A letter, debt, a man waiting patiently for failure. Fear whispered that leaving was safer, but Clara stayed. When the banker came with polished boots and a smooth smile, Clara stood firm. She spoke when it mattered. She planned with Eli by lantern light. Partnership grew where fear once lived. An ultimatum followed. Land or survival, legacy or loss. Clara did not demand. She did not threaten. She chose to stand by him, whatever he chose. And that trust changed everything. Eli chose the fight. The ranch endured. Respect replaced ridicule. And Clara understood that belonging wasn't granted by others. It was built, day by day, by choosing to stay.